وأشهد أن محمدًا عبده ورسوله. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the English transmission of the Ilm channel. Today we have two esteemed guests with us. First, we have Imam Aziz. Imam Amir Aziz is the Imam of the oldest mosque in Europe, in Berlin, Germany. He has a master's in English and he is certified in Arabic and the Islamic Sharia from Al Azhar University. He also has a professional certificate in professional studies from the United Kingdom. Welcome, Imam Saab. Our next guest is Dr. Jawad Ahmed, who has an MBBS, excuse me, and an MRCGP, and he has worked as a general practitioner in UK for the past 20 years, and he is a specialist in musculoskeletal disorders. Welcome, Dr. Ahmed, to our program.
Walaikum assalam. Thank you.
So today we will be discussing the concept of wudhu in Islam and various details related to it. So my first question will be for Imam Aziz. And the question is, what can you tell us about the overall concept of wudhu in Islam?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Nahmadu wa nusalli ala rasulil kareem. Ma ba'du fa'uzu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. First of all, I would like to thank you for providing me opportunity to be part of your this distinguished channel and to be part of this important discussion. Wudu as ablution, it is an essential part of Muslim prayer. That is, whenever, as we know that Muslim they have been commanded by Almighty Allah to pray 5 times a day, and therefore they have been asked that before going to the pray they have to make ablution. And this commandment was revealed in the Holy Quran in chapter 5, verse 6 of the Holy Quran, and it says, Ya ayyuhallazina amanu iza kumtum ila salat faghsilu wujuhakum wa aydiyakum ila al-marafiq wamsahu bi ru'usikum wa arjulakum ila al-ka'bayn wa in kuntum junuban fattahharu wa in kuntum marda wa ala safarin wa ja ahadun minkum min al-gha'it wa lamastum nisa falam tajidu man fatayammamu sa'idan tayyiban famsahu bi wujuhikum وأيديكم منه ما يريد الله ليجعل عليكم من حرج ولكن لا يريد ليطهركم وليتم نعمته عليكم لعلكم تشكرون. So this is actually the commandment given in the Holy Quran, where Allah has specifically asked all believers that when they are going to pray, so you believe, when you rise up for your prayers, wash your face and your hands up to the elbows, and wipe your head and wash your feet up to ankle. So this is actually the whole verse is a very lengthy verse. So just to save the time, it says that whenever a Muslim he is going to pray, he must have to wash his face, his hand till elbows and then feet. So we all know that this commandment, it was given in the Holy Quran. And the important point is that the Holy Prophet ﷺ, he has also mentioned this in one of his hadith. And in that it says, Han Jabirin qala Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, miftahul jannat salatu wa miftahus salat tahur. It says that Hazrat Jabir, who was a follower of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, he says that Prophet ﷺ said, the key to paradise is prayer, and the key to prayer is purification. That is at-tahur, that is the ablution. So the important point is that mentioned in this in verse of the Holy Quran, and then we find a lot of information and details about this in the hadith of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The main point is that when we are going to pray, we must have to purify ourselves. So this is actually a symbol. It is a symbolic purification before entering into the prayer, because now we are going to prayer is actually what it is. prayer is our communication with our Lord, and therefore that communication, it should be based on purification, and therefore symbolically it has been asked that person must have to do this ablution. And the procedure mentioned in the hadith is that Prophet ﷺ used to wash his hands first, and then three times you have to wash your teeth, then you have to blow your nose three times. I will explain it later on the importance, and then you have to wash your face, and then your right arm till elbow, and then left arm till elbow, and then you have to wipe your head like with a wet hand. You just have to wipe your head, your ears from inside, and with your thumb you have to clean your ears outside, and then your neck with both hands, wet hand, and then in the end, first you have to wash your right foot and then the left foot. So this is compulsion for the prayer. And as in the Holy Quran, God says that Islam is a very natural religion. It is the deen of fitra. So uh, there are some exemptions given also, because God knows that sometime you won't be able to find water. So in the same verse which I recited, it says that if you don't find water, then you can have your dry ablution. And that is also symbolic, that before going to pray, we have to purify ourselves. So the purification means that you are going to make an intention that you are entering into a communication with your Lord, and it is based on purity. And it should be, therefore, symbolically, we have to wash our hand, face, our body. It should be clean, and then we enter into the prayer. The second important point also, we have to note that as Muslims have been asked to go into the mosque 5 times a day. Therefore, it is also very essential that when we go into the gathering, before and going to the gathering, we must have to we can say that not only just to clean up ourselves, but before that we join any gathering, we have to uh, actually adopt the whole protocol of that gathering. So as we know that when we go to some party, or when we are going to have a meeting somewhere with any person, so we always go with the tie and suit, and we all uh, make some we all follow the protocol. So this ablution is also the protocol of of the prayer, and going into the prayer house in the mosque when you go, so you must have to clean. And the Prophet ﷺ has asked even that when you go to the mosque, you must have your perfume, that you make some, so that other people, they, when you go, they, it should, you feel that you are in a very lively, in a very purified and very clean company. And then you pray, so that you can have a concentration on your own prayer. So this is the main concept of ablution, which is both physically and symbolically important for the Muslim before going to start his prayer.
Jazakallah, Imam Sahib. I will ask Dr. Ahmed the next question. What would you say are some of the physical benefits of wuzu or ablution as you see them?
Thank you very much for making me part of this talk today. The beauty of Islam is that any injunction or whatever Islam teaches us has a very, very deep, far-reaching consequences. I think with Salat, with Holy Quran, with Hadith, anything, you can have very basic sort of knowledge from this, and you can go deeper in each aspect. So the thing is, with wuzu, I think there are so many physical benefits that I can spend a lot of time, but I'm just going to touch a few things. Just like Amir Bhai said, that you are standing before your Lord. You are standing before your Lord. You are preparing yourself, and even if somebody outside knocked on your door, you will get yourself ready and look presentable. If you were to meet somebody, you want to make sure that you're presentable and clean and nice to be presented. So when you are going before Allah, think when the commandment came 1400 years ago, right? That is in the middle of Arabia. Water is already scarce, but Allah is telling us to use water to clean in this way. Even the sequence of events, before I go into if you look at the sequence of events, we start with washing our hands, then we wash our mouth, then we clean our nose, then we wash our face, and then by that time, if there is anything on your hand, then you're washing your hands and your arms again, and then you wipe your head and do your neck, and then you go on to the feet. So the sequence of events, it fits in with any hygiene measure, surgical scrubbing, infection control. You take it to anybody, any professional in the world, I guarantee you that they will say that this is the correct way of doing things. Nobody can find fault with it. Now, I will start one by one. You can stop me, interject. It is going to be slightly long, but we'll go one by one. So first, talk about skin. What is skin? What are we trying to do? Is we're going to wash ourselves. If skin is the largest organ of the body, it is about 2 square meter. The skin is it is a breathing, living organ. If you looked at it under a microscope, you'll see so many little gaps in the skin. It's not smooth. So what Allah is teaching us is and the skin is used to protect our body, to regulate our temperature, our blood pressure, our pulse. All those things are intimately. If you don't have skin, you will lose all the water immediately and you will die. I mean, you must have seen people in burns, and if somebody's had a burn, a 3rd-degree burn, they will lose all the water. They will die of dehydration. So what you got to remember, the skin that we have on top is trying to protect that skin. Come with hands. Washing hands 5 times a day, 5 times before Salah, means that it's an effective way of preventing germs. Now, we as doctors have to go on a mandatory training every year. Wherever you are, it's called infection prevention control training. Mandatory every year. Long lecture, sit into it. At the end of the whole lecture, they will tell you, you wash your hands before you see the patient, you wash your hand after you see the patient, you do this, you wash your hands. In the end, they say, if you can't remember anything, they just put a big slide up, say, wash your hands. End of. So if you cannot remember anything, just wash your hands. 1400 years ago, Allah is telling us to wash our hands, to prevent infection, to prevent disease, keeping us healthy. Now, some people think that, everything is just spiritual. Allah wants our body to be pure and healthy, a healthy body and healthy mind. You cannot achieve your potential as Ashraful Makhlukat or the best of creation if you're not clean and healthy in mind and body. So that's just one step. I'm just telling you, just washing of your hands. If you ever Google surgical scrubbing, just Google it and have a look at millions of videos, and you'll see how it's told. If you look at what has been passed to us through the hadith, and Amir Bhai will vouch for, the way you wash your hands, you put your fingers in between the other fingers, you clean the tips of your fingers, all these things are essential part of getting rid of germs from your hand. And that is what the infection control prescribes. So it is amazing to look at what we were told. People were following it blindly, getting the benefit, but not knowing the deep down principles. The beauty of this is that as time goes on, you will find the benefits of each and every aspect of this thing. Coming on to oral health, I'm skipping things. I don't want to spend too much on that. I'm going in the same fashion as we do wudhu. So I'm going on to the mouth. Human mouth has the most dirty bacteria. If you were bitten by a human, that's worse than if you were bitten by a dog or any other animal. Because the amount of bacteria in the human, if you go to any ER in America, emergencies in England, anywhere in the world, if you say you've been bitten by a human, happens, I'm afraid, it does happen, they will immediately give you 2 different antibiotics and things. So to keep it clean, we need to make sure that we clean it. And the way Islam has told us in hadith, I'm sure there are hadiths saying the Holy Prophet used to rinse his mouth after eating. There are hadiths. There are no hadiths relating to rinsing his mouth before eating, but after eating, he'll rinse his mouth. We are supposed to rinse it 3 times before every salah. Okay? So what are we trying to do is we're reducing the bacteria. We're trying to promote, reduce gum disease, tooth decay. And there is research available, and you can all look at it. I don't need to present it to you, that it reduces the risk of heart disease. What they say is if you have gum infections and bad oral hygiene, it promotes some inflammation in the arteries and can cause you to have heart disease, can cause you to have lung disease, because the bacteria from your mouth can be inhaled into your lungs and cause lung infections. Again, there is link of bad oral hygiene with Alzheimer's. If you look at those things, and just being sort of healthy and hygienic. I mean, I do work with people from various nationalities, and some of people like to have fish in their lunch. And believe you me, if you sit somebody closer to somebody who's had fish for their lunch or any other food that smells of garlic, if they haven't washed their mouth, it'll be a bit of an unpleasant thing. So Islam always teaches you to to be more presentable, so you can be with other people in comfort and not bother them. You have to put perfume on when you go in for Jummah. That's the so talked about cardiovascular disease, pneumonias, and there are certain conditions in the body which can result in bad oral health. So diabetes, osteoporosis, Alzheimer's, there are things that we call periodontal problems. So if you do wudhu, then you're reducing the risk of side effects or problems from these diseases. If you go further, now I can go on more about oral hygiene, but I think that's enough to just make you think why we're doing this. Coming on to nose, the way Allah has created the nose is there hair inside the nose. When you breathe, it traps infections. And if you wash it 5 times a day, you're getting rid of all the bacteria and all the contaminations that the nose. I mean, people know that if you work in a dusty environment, or you've been dusting around the house, and you wash your nose, you can actually see what you're bringing out. So Islam, by cleaning your nose, you are reducing the population of bacteria in the nose. Nose is one of the most potent areas of contaminants. Same with the COVID at the moment. If you look at COVID-19, what they say is if you may not have any symptoms, but you may be carrying the virus in your nose. Same happens with lots of other bacteria, staphylococcal bacteria, which is in your nose, which can cause infections. And again, if you look at conditions like sinusitis, if you got conditions like allergic rhinitis or hay fever or pollen allergies, the more you clean your nose, the less likely you're going to suffer from the symptoms. There is a mantra in medicine. We say solution of pollution is dilution. If you ask anybody about surgery anywhere, if you dilute things, you are less likely to be affected by them. Even with wudhu, you don't get rid of all the bacteria on your hands. Nowadays, we use certain soaps and sanitizers and wash them. But if you just wash your hands, you reduce the population. If you reduce the population, your own immunity should be able to deal with it. If when the balance between those bacteria who are attacking you and your is imbalanced, then you get disease. So Allah is helping you reduce that without you even knowing it. Without you even knowing it, you're doing all these things. So we talked about this thing. And again, if you look at certain treatments, there is a very valid treatment in medicine. It's called nasal douching. If you go to any ENT specialist, the first thing they'll do is do nasal douching. What is this saline spray up your nose so many times a day? What is that? That is wudhu. That is wudhu. You're cleaning your nasal passages. You're helping drain the sinuses, all the sinuses which are here, top of your eyes, forehead. And it reduces all the complications related to these. It will never get rid of disease, but it will definitely bring down the level of disease, so it's more manageable. So again, in UK, I know for a fact, there is a disease very feared all over the world. It's called meningitis. The meningococcal bacteria lives in the nose. And all school leavers in UK, before they go into university, are given a meningitis vaccine. Specifically because when these young people mix in the universities, and they have much closer contact than some of the Muslim societies maybe, then that goes rampant, this meningitis disease, which can actually kill you if not treated in time and diagnosed in time. So just imagine if you're in some very remote area and you don't have access to health facility, having a disease like that is surely death sentence. So this again, another disease, which I believe I've just quoting you major things. And so, the carrying of infection and spreading it. That is what nose, if you wash your nose regularly, then that helps you. Again, when you're doing I'm coming on to the face and the eyes. So again, I think washing your face is probably the best facial you can have. People go to these treatments and they have so many different treatments on their face. If you just wash your face, which we do in wudhu, so many times a day, how many times is it? How many times?
Five
I play, yeah, 5 times, but multiplied by 15, then would you have any dirt on your face? All your pores will be clean. People who worry about acne and all these, stuff, pimples and wrinkles and facial spots, I think this is probably one of the best. And it's reducing the bacteria, because you're out and about, you are you are exposed to infections, you're exposed to all those things. And then when you look at eyebrows, when you have any dust falling from your hair or dandruff, the eyebrows trap it, prevent it from going into your eyes. Then you got eyelashes. There's another protection. Now we have the normal film of layer which protects the eyes. But when you wash your eyes, you're washing the eyelashes, the eyelids, and the eyelids are more waxy and where the hair are coming from. And if they get infection, you get simple condition like conjunctivitis, blepharitis. And the treatment for this condition, if you go into the first line treatment, is washing your eyes, cleaning your eyes. So we are doing like a maintenance all the time, trying to prevent the disease. So washing your eyes will stop you against flaky eyes, red, watery eyes, crusty, misdirected lashes. In Africa, people are familiar with the condition called trachoma. It's a disease of the eyelids. And what happens is, by having repeated eyelid infections, your eyelashes, which are nicely pointing outwards, can point inwards. Okay? If you live in a developed society, you can go and have a small operation. They'll make your eyelid go back outwards again. But if you live in a village and you don't have access to health, those inward eyelashes will rub against your cornea and actually cause you blindness. So I just had a little figure about... I've not got it here. There's millions of people who go blind by this condition, and it's a major health risk that you have in Africa. So washing your eyes completely will reduce the burden of that disease very, very efficiently. Again, when you talk about cleaning your ears, like Amir Bhai said, very few people always clean behind the ears. And that can create fungal infections and smell from behind the ears. I see that quite commonly, people who don't wash themselves behind the ears. Islam has told you to clean whatever outside wax is. Now the teaching is never stick anything, and people do stick cotton buds into the ear, very common practice, But they say don't stick anything inside your ear and just clean it from the outside. So any extra wax that comes out, just clean it. That's what we do. And we clean behind the ears. Again, with the arms and wiping the head and neck, you're actually promoting lymphatic drainage in your ears. And then back of the head, you've got the hypothalamus, which is the regulator for your temperature, and you're cooling it down. You're soothing it down. And again, what you're doing is, after all you've done the top, then you wash your hands and let the water run towards the elbow, clean to the dirty. So if you think this is the clean area, you're letting it run to the dirty area. And again, at the end, you're washing your hands absolutely clean. And being a Muslim, you have got one more advantage, that for every non-clean thing, you use our left hand. Correct? That is, we've been told, again, I think it's in Hadith, or Amir Bhai can correct me, but we use our left hand for all the non-clean things. And you clean your nose as well with your left hand. So whenever you meet a Muslim, number one, he'll be a very clean person. Number two, his right hand will be even cleaner, because it's not been anywhere where he shouldn't be. So I think these are the things to think about, the physical side. And when you read these days, you Google everything. Just Google and see what you can find. These are just little aspects of what I'm telling you. And again, you're washing your feet. If you look at these people who do manicure, pedicure, spend millions of amount of money. If you wash your feet so many times, there will be no fungal infection, athlete's foot, all the problems. And there is a lot of talk about pressure points on the feet. So there are so many pressure points on the feet, which gives you kind of acupressure points and reflexology, and it helps you with your back pain, arthritis, joint pains. Many research that will tell you. So when you wash your body, humans, they are so developed. The most dexterous things is your hands. If you look at what a human hand can do, look at the brain. If you look at the brain, if you look at how much area is taken up in the brain for the human hand, the tongue, the face, the limbs, that is majority of the motor cortex. If you look at the picture, that's more technical. But when you're refreshing all these parts, actually, you are refreshing your brain. A large part of your brain is refreshed by doing the wuzu. And isn't it true that Huzur Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said that if you get angry, sit down if you can. If not, lie down. If you're still angry, go and do wuzu. So when you do wuzu, your anger comes, your blood pressure reduces, your heart rate slows down. You are preparing to stand before your Lord and pray and get yourself mentally, physically ready. I think I'll stop here, otherwise I can go on forever. But that, I think, it just gives you a flavor of the physical benefits and reducing disease burden on humans. And if one human can, you can do that and apply it to the society at large, and just imagine if a human who's doing all this doesn't drink, doesn't smoke, then just imagine how beneficial it will be. And all the problems that are associated with health, with alcohol, smoking, and unclean, unhealthy lifestyle, the health system would love it. I think they'd be very grateful for a human who does all this with diligence, and with Allah's sort of yeah. I'll stop here now.
Jazakallah, Dr. Ahmed. That was extremely beneficial to know. I think we do wuzu, alhamdulillah, frequently, but we don't stop to think about all the benefits that we are getting, or maybe we are rushing, or we are not being mindful of all the benefits. So it's really beneficial to learn about all that you have told us. And I would like to ask Imam Aziz to add something on any hadiths that come to mind or anything related to what Dr. Ahmed said, please.
Yeah, thank you very much once again. As Dr. Ahmed, he was talking about brushing the teeth, and this is the most important part. So I would like to point out few of the hadiths of the Holy Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam that he stressed so much on there that like a person 1400 years back, he was so much aware of this. Importance of the cleanliness of teeth, that there is one chapter about brushing. Although the word in Arabic it is used the word miswak, but that means toothbrush. In modern technology, we can say it is toothbrush. And it says in what I just quote few of the hadiths of the Holy Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam to know the importance of this. In one of these says, "Qalat Aisha to an Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, as-siwaku mutahharatun lil fammi mardatun lil rabb." And it says that toothbrush purifies the mouth and is a mean of seeking the pleasure of the Lord. So it means that it says that toothbrush, it not only cleans your mouth, but also it is a pleasure of God, that people, they should remain healthy. So because he is our creator and he knows the what we need for our physical body, how to keep it clean. And then the Prophet ﷺ said in one of the next hadith says, قال أبو هريرة عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم لولا أشك علي على أمتي لا أمرتهم بالسواك عند كل وضوء. He says, Abu Huraira, he said that the Holy Prophet ﷺ, he pointed out, where it is not that I would place too heavy a burden, were it not that I would place too heavy a burden on my community, on my ummah, I would have commanded them to use the toothbrush at every ablution. So he said that I don't command you to do this toothbrush for 5 times, because I know that it will be difficult for the people to do it. But if it would not have been difficult for the people, I would have commanded it that you should do it. And then in one of the next hadith, Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, Ananas in Kala Kala Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, Aksartu alaikum fis sawak. And he said, the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, I have spoken to you about the toothbrush too often, that you should do it all the time. And then Hazrat Aisha, who was wife of the Holy Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, she has narrated a very important hadith. She said, "An Aisha ta qalat kana Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam la yarkudu min al-layli wala naharin fayastayqizul illa yatasawwaku qabla an yatawadda." That Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, she said, never did the Prophet wake up after sleeping at night or in the day, but he used to toothbrush before he performed ablution. So, like the first thing when he used to wake up was toothbrush, which means obviously at the word muswak is used, but and then she said another very important hadith, which is also, as Dr. Ahmed pointed out, she says one of the hadith عن عائشة سألت عائشة بأي شيء كان يبدأ رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إذا دخل بيته قالت بالسواك. And she said that Hazrat Aisha radiallahu ta'ala, she was asked, what was the first thing the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam did when he entered his house? She said, toothbrushing. So like this, you can see that how much importance the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam has given to this very important thing that we have to clean our mouth and if possible 5 times a day, and not even the dentist. When I was last time I had my dental problem, I was there and dentist asked me, you have to brush your teeth 3 times a day at least. I said, okay, thank you. That's my, I mean, that Prophet ﷺ has asked for 5 times, but although the doctor, he said that. So this is what is the importance of brushing your teeth. And obviously there are a lot of other hadiths of the Prophet ﷺ about wudhu, about washing your face, hand, nose, everything. It will take a lot of time. So I think this, I just wanted to point out that this is so important, as Dr. Jawad, he pointed out that if human, uh, somebody, a human bites some other, and the doctor will give you injection. So it means that the Prophet ﷺ, he has, that is the reason he has given so much stress on brushing your teeth. So, but only is that because people mostly misunderstand that maybe that miswak is something, because miswak is what is the toothbrush of that time, because there was no technology developed at that time. So the Prophet ﷺ has pointed out, and nowadays, if you get that natural toothbrush, maybe any miswak, it's okay. But if not, then there are toothbrush, and you can have your toothbrush and toothpaste, and it will clean your mouth. So this is my, I just wanted to add on this point. Thank you very much.
Jazakallah, Imam Aziz. That was very beneficial to know all the hadiths related to what Dr. Ahmed has said. And I would like Dr. Ahmed, you have explained a lot about some other diseases that humans have, but with reference to COVID-19, is there anything specific related to wuzu that you think could be preventative?
Absolutely. I think I touched briefly. On the nose. Washing your nose reduces the population and carrier status of bacteria and viruses within your nose. And as you know, that nose is the major carrier when people sneeze and cough. And so I think by us, if I believe, and I can't prove it, but I believe if everybody started washing their nose, as we do in wuzu, wear a mask, keep the distance, then we can reduce the spread of this illness very effectively. Washing hands now, we've never seen the Prime Minister go on TV and ask them how to wash your hands. That was the first thing was done by Boris Johnson, showing how long you should wash your hands for. This has never been done before. So Islam, what tells you is actually the basics of good hygiene and health. If we stick with washing our hands properly, minimizing contact, there are many sort of hadiths about if you're in a place where there is a contagious disease, don't go in there. Keep away. So social distancing is what Islam has always said. And if you wash your nose properly, if you wash your hands like we do in wuzu, and minimize contact, I have no doubt that the spread of the disease can be reduced to an effective level so you can manage. That's what we want, really, because at the moment, you see, hospitals can manage some conditions, but what they are scared about is the overwhelming of the medical facilities. And Islam can help with that. Islam helps with that. If you do what Islam tells you to do with regards to hygiene, then those facilities will not be overwhelmed and we can manage. So I think, yes, absolutely. I think this nasal carriage, which is the mainstay of this disease spreading. So I don't know. I want to say anything more on that, but is there anything more? I mean, the rest is about vaccination. You should go and have your vaccine. There's nothing un-Islamic about the vaccine. There's, you should go ahead and all of us have it. I've had my first dose. My father's had it. People who are in the healthcare facilities, as soon as people get called, I think they should go and have their vaccine, because these health facilities are also created by Allah, and this is something Allah has created. So make full use of it to stay healthy. And maybe if I have a minute or so in the end, I'll talk about, the benefits of staying healthy. So when you're healthy and the society is healthy, then you progress and do sort of things that we are humans are supposed to do, spread the knowledge. And if you're not healthy yourself, you can't do anything. You'll just be so consumed about your own disease, being unwell, and your own sort of nutritional status, you won't be able to perform. Is that reasonable or anything?
No, Jazakallah, that is very well said. I was just wondering one thing. You said cleaning of the nose. Is there a certain method of cleaning the nose during wuzu? Is it like snuffing the water up? Is it just I mean, can you explain a bit more about that,
Are
please?
Yeah, I will tell you what I know, and then Amir Bhai can probably supplement it. I think what you're supposed to do is take water in your left hand, and you cup it, you cup the waters you got, and you push the water into the nose to wash it, and then you use your little finger and thumb to clean the inside of the septum where things can get stuck. Your nasal secretion, they get stuck, and then you're supposed to do it 3 times. I think that's what Islam tells us, and I think uh, this is what it is. What do you say, Amir bhai? Is that the same thing?
Yeah, exactly. This is the same that you just take water in your left hand and then you put water in the nose. You can even blow it with force,
Hmm.
and or you can clean it with your fingers. So yeah, that's exactly the same.
But the left hand. So the left hand does the unclean things, and the
Yes,
right hand does more the clean things.
Right. So thoroughly
yes,
cleaning the
exactly.
nose by
Yeah,
snuffing the
yeah,
water up, not
yeah,
just, ceremonially putting it there. I think
yeah.
that is the beauty of Islam, that, this element of preventive medicine is found in every single aspect of Islam.
Hmm,
And not only is Allah teaching us these things, He is actually rewarding us for doing these things,
hmm,
which
hmm,
are taking care of our health and
hmm,
maintaining
hmm,
our good
hmm,
health.
hmm,
So I now have a question for Imam Aziz, which is just talking about Islam as preventive medicine. We know that all other religions were also revealed by Allah Almighty. So, what other commands similar to wuzu about cleanliness and ablution do we find in other religions?
Uh, Thank you once again. I like. And you know that cleanliness is one of the main part of human conscience. Obviously, every human being is conscious of cleanliness, and all different religions, they have their different rituals, and they also perform a kind of cleanliness for their those particular rituals, or when they are going to pray something, they are going to worship to their Lord. As I I once visited like one of the Sikh temple, and before that, you can't even enter until you clean yourself into the temple. So they have the almost it is not exactly this similar to wudu, but it is they have this own system that they have to work. And I was just reading a Bible where I found that the Bible also pointed out Jesus. It is actually uh, Jesus, he had the uh, a kind of his own disciples who were betraying him. But before that, in chapter John, it is verse 13 onward. This John from chapter 13, all other verses they also point out what Jesus said. I just point out few things that then he said he rise from the supper and laid aside his garment and took a towel and girded himself. After that, he poured water into a basin and began to wash the disciples' feet and to wipe them with a towel where, wherewith he was girded. Then, like this whole verses say that he washed all the feet of his own disciples. So like it was a kind of washing. And then one of his he disciple Peter Simon said, he said that I think that you will not. Peter said unto him, "Thou shalt never wash my feet." That is because he thought that Jesus maybe is angry and he will not never wash my feet. And then at that time Jesus replied, "If I wash thee not, thou hast no part with me. If I don't wash, then it means you have no connection with me." So in these when I read the whole this chapter and all these verses, there is a concept of washing of the although it is much more related to feet, but this also tells actually the humility of Jesus, that he was not only just cleaning himself, but he was cleaning others. So this is, like, in Bible, then, like, we can find out this concept that not only just washing yourself, but also the dirt of others is also important. And this way, Jesus, he has symbolically actually taught his own disciple that what they have to do. And then there are a lot of he says that what I am doing, and this is very interesting. In the next in one verse, Jesus says, "What I am doing, you will not understand now, but you will
Mhm.
understand. The time will come." So now it is the time. We, as Dr. Jawad, he pointed out that now the world is aware of the cleanliness of this, and now the people are understanding it. So he said that you will know. And in the same way, like, there are a lot of then I also saw that Baha'ism, in the Baha'ism is also, I have seen that it is the same, almost the same wudu, because it came out of Islam, this religion. So they have the same ritual. But in Hinduism and in many other, they all have this concept of cleanliness. Although Islam has then regulated it much more, and also made it a part of your daily prayer. So in, like, in other religion, we find that it is much more connected to the maybe that after a week, or they are going to have their religious ceremonies on certain occasion, or when they have ritual. But Islam said that not only in the ritual, but it is a part of daily routine, that 5 times a day, when you get up early in the morning, you have to do it, and then it goes on throughout the day. So that is why when we compare it with the other religion, although the concept of cleanliness is there, but the way Islam has pointed out that you, especially using the water, because in some of the, as we know, in West, and the people, they don't use much water also.
Mhm.
And so Islam has pointed out, especially stress that you use water. In case you don't, then obviously you can make this
Mhm.
dry ablution. But in most of the time, it is that you have to use water, so that your all contamination free body, you are moving in the society, even that you are not carrying germs with you, rather you should be a pure and clean person
Mhm.
going outside, both physically and
Right.
spiritually. So this is actually, we can say that the other religion also, they are teaching, but Islam has made it a much more on a principle basis, that you have to make it every day 5 times, so that at least you can be free of all the impurities which you carry with you.
Jazakallah, Imam Aziz. That was very well explained. I was reading a book the other day which was talking about the power of habits. And
Mhm.
when we want to do something, there's some things that if we make them our habit, we're not thinking about them too much. They're not taking a lot of our willpower or energy to do them. So Islam has given us the gift of making this habit of cleanliness a part of our routine. We don't have to think, should I wash my hands? Should I clean my nose? It's
Mhm.
time for namaz, you do your wuzu, and you proceed from that. So that is a huge blessing that we have been given. I just wanted to ask one more thing related to the purification. I know that in the Christian faith there is this practice of baptism where they are immersed in water. So do you think that there is any any, can we correlate the practice of our wuzu to the spiritual benefits of baptism?
It's to Brother Jawad, or to
And then
Brother
to you,
Devotion?
Imam Aziz. Yes.
Okay. So, like, baptism is, if you see that it is not a regular, it is not done on the regular basis. Like, it is just when the child is being baptized, and that is also when it he reaches to certain age. I have seen that mostly when they are a bit much more grown up people. So this is one time, and that actually is a symbol where they, like in Islam, that we say that a person is a Muslim, or when he is born. So all children, they are born on the nature of God, as the Prophet ﷺ also pointed out that kullu mawludan yulidu ala fitra, that every person, every child is born on the nature of God, and then later on, obviously, the parents, they, when they are Muslim, he will become a Muslim. If the parents are Christian, they will become Christian, or to belong to any other religion. And but in baptism is that there is a thing that when they are going to now confirm that now they are going to be they are going to adopt their religion, and it becomes a religious ceremony. But in Islam, it is the the child is born on the nature of God. So therefore, you don't need that baptism. And that obviously is not related to wudu, because that is one, and here it is on a regular basis. It is.
Jazakallah, Imam Aziz. So, Dr. Ahmed, I would like you to please talk a little bit about the importance of these public health measures that you have touched upon in some good detail, but to talk about them in the sense that is this something that is optional for us? Are we required to adopt measures in our lives that help the health of society in general? So, please, if you could
Yeah,
explain a bit more.
I mean, I don't know. I'll take it from a different angle. So this is everything is optional. There is no compulsion in religion, right? The right way is distinct from the wrong way. So as a Muslim, you have options to do whatever you want. But I believe that if you use as a community these measures, everybody uses them, that will reduce the disease burden significantly. It wouldn't get rid of the disease. Disease is there. Disease you cannot get rid of, but it'll reduce the infective disease burden and make you into healthy individuals. If you are healthy and everybody looks after their health, then the society as a whole will be a healthy society. If they follow the teachings of Islam and teachings of the Holy Prophet, then you will be following the advice about diet, you will be following the advice about exercise, you will be following the advice about getting up in the morning and saying your salah and purification. And therefore, these things, when the whole society does them together, you'll be more compassionate, you will be looking after each other, then you will see the health benefits. This subject is so vast because we call Allah the Rabb. He is somebody who is nourishing onto perfection. He will take you through stages. You need to choose whether you want to go on that path or not. So it's our choice. So if we choose the path, yes, I'm going to do the wuzu properly. Yes, I'm going to do the prayer as it ought to be. Namaz, we should do it as it ought to be, to bring a change within ourselves, to become better human beings, more compassionate, more nicer, not the kind of Muslims that we are being branded about in the world at the moment. We have all these knowledge was given to us 1400 years ago, and the nations who have adapted them into their policies, into their social structure, they are progressing. Reason, these principles are there for you to progress. If you don't adopt them, somebody else will. Simple as that. And if you don't highlight them, nobody's going to give you credit, that Islam sort of introduced this. I'll just give you an example. I'll try to show you if I can. If you can have a look at this. Can you see this?
Yes.
It's called Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Okay? If you can Google this and read up about it. The reason I say that is, as a society, there is a pyramid. At the top of that pyramid is where you have the individual's full realization of their potential. That Allah wants you to work to your full potential, right? At the bottom of it is the physiological needs. That's what we are talking about now. Making sure your basic needs for physical survival, food, water, livable environment, clothing, and shelter. Right? Just go a little bit up is the safety, protection, and security which an Islamic society gives you. Feeling and being safe from harm from family members, strangers, occupational hazards. Okay? Then you go into belongingness and love. If you go, if you're a nice human being, you look after people around you, the belongingness and love that we should promote by offering salah in congregation, going for Jummah prayers, getting together Eid, doing the zakat, looking after the poor, bringing them up. Then it comes on to esteem. And then the top of the pyramid is self-actualization. This is where you then perform to your best of your ability in the science, field of science, religion. Then you'll have the peace of mind to study, to do well in your life. Now, if you don't get the basic right, look at the societies, some of the Muslim countries where they are war-torn. You've got no sanitation, no health. How do you then expect that those societies are going to do wonders in the world? So if you look at the other societies who are doing well, they have taken care of these basic needs. And Islam, by giving you all these little tools, simple tools, allows you to then create those societies. That true Medina ki Riyasat, or the society in Medina, is something that's achievable, but not one, to everybody has to pull their weight and follow the principles of Islam. And then that takes you to a place where you can rightfully call yourself an accomplished Muslim, a true Muslim, as a Muslim should be, which then reflects in the society that you live in. Does that sort of make it? This was just something I, brought together. I hope it makes sense. And if you read about this hierarchy of needs, that's what Allah has created you in the best make, ashraful makhlukat. And He wants you to perform to the best of your potential. And this is the basic thing we're talking about, the hygiene, health. And then the things come on top of it to take the society to do the best that it should be doing.
Jazakallah, Dr. Ahmed, beautifully explained. So, as I understand it, um, we have an Islamic obligation to take care of our health and the health of others, but it's not like we should take it more as upon ourselves to do the best that we can,
Yeah.
rather than thinking of, okay, this is something that I have to do. Islam gives us a choice of what how we choose to practice our faith, but there is a huge health benefit for ourselves and for society if we adopt these principles. So my last question today is to Imam Aziz, and we have a huge water shortage, global water shortage. We know that many cities will be running out of water soon. So this is also an issue that we face in our world. And I'm just thinking that sometimes when we talk about wuzu, the image I get is, there's this gushing water from the tap and people are making elaborate wuzu. And so based on my understanding, I think you can make a correct wudu with very little water. Am I correct in that? And does Islam encourage us to conserve water while making wudu?
Yes, yeah. First of all, yes, this is very, very important issue, and in the world, people when they discuss about, they say that it's a scarcity of water, and people when they make wudu, then obviously in some parts of the world, we see that they sometimes not only just waste water, but I say that they misuse this wudu. That is why when we see, the what the Holy Prophet ﷺ, he has said, we have to keep. He pointed out that you wash three times. So this means that it was a balanced, like don't wash one time because obviously it will not clean your hand very well. But three times means don't wash it like that. You keep on washing, and then your the tap is on and you are wasting water. So this is the what actually the Prophet ﷺ has given a very balanced procedure of wudu, that three times mean good washing. And also nowadays, if we, it's better, like in some of the countries, like if you see, like in Qatar, I was there, at Dubai and other airports, they have this wudu facility, and they have now the sensor tap, so that people, they don't misuse water too much, and sensor tap, they can easily, in this way you can save water. And the just to point out, the Prophet ﷺ in one of the hadiths has very clearly mentioned, it says, he asked his own Sahaba that, do you think if there is a stream on someone's door, and he plunges into that streams 5 times a day, do you think that it will remain any dirt on his body? And they said no. So Prophet ﷺ said that this is the example, same example of prayer. Now, like it is, the physical benefit and spiritual benefits are all, they are going side by side. So the wudu, it means that it is symbolical purification. So therefore, we must not make it, where we are going to mm, waste the water, which is very, very, which is, we can say it is the blessings of God. And nowadays, like in many parts of the world where there is no water, so people should realize that Prophet ﷺ has three times mentioned this, means that you have to keep a balance in it. Don't and like I know, in my country, in Pakistan and all other parts where I have seen, sometimes people, they just open the tap and they are making wudu, and then they are wasting this very this blessings of Allah, that water. No, it should not be. Everything should be in limit. Prophet ﷺ has pointed out three times. It means good washing without wasting the water. Rather, in this way, we are going to save water. And even in hadith, although we don't go into that hadith, Prophet ﷺ has also pointed out the procedure how to take bath, and he says only with one tub. If we say nowadays as one bucket is it's more than enough. It's again a symbolic that and he has pointed out, you just wash your hand, your feet, like just make your ablution, and then 3 times you just pour water on your whole body. That means that balanced. Don't just keep on taking bath for hours and then wasting this very precious water. So in Islam, everything is based on balance. In the Holy Quran, Allah says that Allah does not like those who are spendthrifts. So spendthrift does not only mean that they spend their money like this, but it is also like everything in the nature which is precious. You don't have to spend it like this. Rather, you have to keep a balance in it. So therefore, this is what Islam has pointed out, and this is the procedure specifically mentioned by the Holy Prophet ﷺ to keep balance in it and to save water, not to waste it. I think this is
Jazakallah.
more than enough. Thank you.
Yes, Jazakallah, Imam. It's very well explained. So, one last thing, we only have a few minutes left, but I just wanted to confirm this with Dr. Ahmed that according to my understanding of correct hand washing, we just need to wet our hands and then we should be scrubbing our hands, right? We don't need the water to be constantly washing over them, right? We have soap, then we're scrubbing our nails and between our fingers. So, that, of course, again, does not take constant water use. The
No.
scrubbing is done and then we just rinse them off. So,
Yes, I think you're right. You don't have to be having water running anyway. If you scrub your hands, I mean, the proper surgical scrubbing is similar to wuzu. Like I say, you go in between your fingers, back of the fingers, then uh, doing the thumbs, then the tips of the fingers, and just wash. And like Amir Bhai said, I don't want to be controversial, but if you think that you've done a good scrubbing and washed it once, that's what Islam wants. The 3 times is because you make sure it's not remains dirty. But if you're using a soap or some sanitizer, maybe you don't have to do 3 times. I wouldn't press on it. Now, but there's another hadith I want to finish with. I think Amir Bhai did mention very, 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 very nice thing. But there is a hadith that please do not water even if you are next to a stream. So that's also a hadith that if you're next to a stream, you're still not allowed to waste water. You may have plentiful. The other one thing was that in those days there was no running water in Medina during the time of the Prophet, and they used to have little pots of water in which when they wake up they will do wuzu. So they did not have loads and loads of water in the middle of a desert. And if so therefore the use of water being promoted in a desert environment just tells you how important it is, and that's what it is, I think. So you're absolutely right. Once you scrubbed it, you just wash it quickly. You don't have to keep it running under the water and waste more water. Really, we need all to conserve water.
Jazakallah, Dr. Ahmed. Thank you so much, both of our esteemed guests, for sharing your knowledge with us. And wuzu is something that we do so many times a day. And so it's really important to refresh this concept, to have a correct understanding of it, and to use it in the best possible way for our physical health and the spiritual benefits that it brings. Thank you so much for our listeners. And inshallah ta'ala, we will see you again next time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you so much for inviting us. And maybe one of those days we can do something on the benefits of salat.
Inshallah.
Inshallah. So thank you so much. Thank you very much.
Good topic.
Jazakallah.